If you don't have that one thing right, it'll ultimately throw off the whole vibe of the sample and no one's gonna pick it. What's going on, everyone? Kingfisher here. Today I want to take you through how I would make an acoustic guitar melody for an artist like Trippie Redd. The style that I'm going to be going for is something in the lane of his newest album that he dropped called Pegasus. I started by finding a progression that I could see Trippie Redd rapping over. If you don't have that one thing right, it'll ultimately throw off the whole vibe of the sample and no one's going to pick it. So instead of strumming the chord progression like I would normally do, I decided to arpeggiate the chords to give the melody more bounce and just to give it a different vibe. I recorded the guitar chord progression twice and then panned each take left and right to make the sample sound more full. Once I had that main section looping, I decided to add a top line with my acoustic guitar. For my top lines, I like to freestyle on some of the higher strings on the guitar so that producers can bring that section in during a pre-chorus or during the second half of the hook. The effects that I added to the top line consisted of the Portal plugin by Output, halftime, and a parametric EQ. I like to add the Portal plugin on my top lines because it adds cool textures and artifacts in the higher frequency bands, which brings a lot out in the melody, I find. The next thing that I added to this melody was a recording of my own vocals. I've been doing this a lot in my samples because it adds a really cool organic texture to your samples that you really can't get from any VST. The final element that I added to this melody were some textures from a couple one-shot kits. One thing that I really like to do with these textures when I add them to my melodies is reduce the sample rate in Edison so they can really be tucked in the background and sit well in the mix. So that's essentially my process on how I would make one of these types of samples. If you enjoyed this video, it would really help me out if you left a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, I'm going to play the finished beat that I made with this sample right now.